What happened to your chin, by the way?
Yeah.
No, but seriously.
And the peripheral
or a
vision, too.
thing. Like, it seemed to have been indicated even more strongly. By the way, why is nobody targeting the ship that just fired into the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode, or actually the final episode, of Macross 2. Until then we go into the movie, and then after the movie, obviously, there's the whole rankings thing, which we'll get to, and then otherwise, until the new series comes out, you know, like a year or two, I guess, or 4 or 5, or however long it actually takes. We'll be done with Macross.
Yeah, the last piece of news was that they chosen who was going to be their idol or singer for that series, and that was it.
Well, no, the last piece of news was actually the voice actress from Eileen dying.
Who herself was an idol, and so she did both her voice acting, side, and her singing as well.
Well, I mean, you know, I've said it many times, Like the Light is my favorite song from Macross 7. And the first time you hear that is Mylene singing it to Gamlin.
So, yeah, with that downer note, damn.
Well, everyone dies.
I mean, true.
I don't want to be one breaking this news to you, Lessons, but
no, it's not a happy occasion. It's like, hey, unless it's somebody who really deserves it. You know?
I mean, none of us come in of our own volition, and most of us don't leave the same way.
That is very true as well. Yes.
All right. Well, of course, we always come back with the same thing, not the same downer notes as you just mentioned, but also we're not typically a news channel, so you're hearing this probably, given how much stuff we record from across a long time after we've dated ourselves on this one.
Yeah.
We come back with the board and notes. So, of course, we always start with the board and the board changelog, where I connected Fef to Hibiki and Sylvie with a red line, changed his white line to Ishtar green, and added a purple arrow from him to her. I added Elenish, connected her to Ishtar, Hibiki, and Sylvie with a white line, and then marked her as dead.
Lady Elenish, yes.
Added Wolf, connected him to Fef, Hibiki, and Sylvie with a red line, and then marked him as dead. Added Ingius. Yeah, I don't give a shit about these names anymore. Connected him with a red line to the military line, and a green line to Fef. I added Messina, connected them to Injunis with a green line. And then I added Balze, connected him with a green line to the rest of the military, and then marked him as dead.
Captain of the Gloria. Gloria. Sorry, just flashback from the 1980s.
I mean, yeah, I know. I only have like 2 other words after that in my head, so it can't be like a earworm for me.
Yeah, I mean, I concur with most of it. But you have Wolf twice here? Or is it just me?
No, I think it must be a you thing.
Must be a me thing again.
Where are you looking?
I'm looking to the right of
the
actual commander.
What did I say? Menaeus? What did I say his name was? Their name. They're just a skull. Messina.
Messina. To the left of Ingus.
Ignaeus?
I thought Ingus.
Ingenious? I already told you I don't give a fuck about their name anymore.
Oh, okay.
They're a stupid character, and I cover that in my notes.
So do I. Talking of notes. Let's start with episode 4, Marked with Disorder. Wait for it. There is a prophecy. Although it seems that the meaning of the ship of Alice is not that the SDF-1 comes from some other planet called Alice, but that the ship is in Alice, that is, Earth. But the way it's translated is still kind of weird.
I would argue that.
sometimes they talk about it like the planet is Alice, or Earth is Alice.
No,
So the ship
they
is
do. I
from
mean,
that.
I'm saying they are of Alice, but at the same time, it's the ship of Alice, which would imply that it's also from Alice. So it's not from here, so there must also be another Alice place. Literally, my first note is also about a prophet and a prophecy, so let me just read. Did you finish yours?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if I interrupted or not. Sorry. So we get the inclusion of the great Marduk prophet Dinius as the source of the prophecy of Alice and its people that will bring peace to the Marduk. Kind of disappointing that all of this Alice stuff wasn't based in anything. This person said an envoy from a blue planet would save the Marduk from themselves. That's some real hand-wavy vagary right there. On top of having no information about why this Dinius person is important in the first place, or why their prophecy holds any merit, it seems like the leadership of the Marduk are actively moving against them, so maybe they don't. If this had come out after Zero, I'd be launching into another of my Sarah diatribes, but it doesn't, so that wouldn't make any sense.
No.
If it
It's
did,
completely
I'd be saying that Birdman went to the Marduk planet, and Dinius is of the Sarah is a Name lineage, and she was telling stories about her home world, and they turned it into this whole Alice thing because he has covered before, and I don't remember if this is Macross 2 or one of our other things. The further you get away from a mythos, the more, watered down it becomes, and so Sarah telling people about her homeworld becomes the planet of Alice. I said my grandmother's name was Alice.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me again of the prequel. I mean, this show reminds me both of the prequels and later on also of the sequels of Star Wars. Like in the prequels, there's a prophecy. What about a balance of the Force? What's that? What does that mean? No, it just means there's a prophecy. Whenever there was a quiet time, they had nothing else to say. It was like, there's a prophecy. Yes, we do know there's a prophecy. What does the prophecy say? It's going to bring balance to the Force. What does that mean? We don't even bother asking. Everybody knows what that means.
I mean, there's a lot out there for it, though. Yeah. I mean, I always thought it meant that, that there would only be 2 Jedi left or something because 2 Sith, 2 Jedi. But apparently what it's supposed to mean is that the Force is not in balance because there's not supposed to be any dark side. The presence of the dark side is an imbalance in the Force. The Force is supposed to be neutral all over. And the Jedi are actually not good guys. They are neutral guys. So the dark side itself is the imbalance in the Force. So the Jedi getting rid of the Sith is the returning balance to the Force.
Yeah, but they never
It makes more sense than thinking that the Jedi are pursuing their own death.
Yeah. There's so many Jedi. Okay, let's kill them all. But we don't want to die. Well, that's what the prophecy says.
And to be fair, if you're really good at this, you become a blue guy for the rest of your life. Afterlife.
Next point. Obligatory torture scene, I guess. Mind you, the Centrali never tortured anyone. They did threaten to squish somebody to death, but outright torture? We never see that from the Centrali. They will kill you, but they will make it quick.
I want to say we do. End of SDF Macross when they are trying to take back their myclone pods.
When do they torture anybody there?
I think it's implied because they're holding them captive, and I think they don't look good. So I think it's implied off-screen sort of stuff. Because, I don't think Quam Zim's not torturing people.
Yeah, but I think the only thing that we see, which I guess could be close to torture, that Quam Zim flicks, what's his name? Minmay's cousin against the wall. He's like, oh! I was like, but it's more like, shut up. Like, it's more like,
I would also argue that you're applying this to a whole species that evolves over time. Like, by the time we're at the end, the Zentradi are just living with us normally, So, there's a whole species of just people that are living side by side that you're like, they're incapable of torture. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying they're incapable of it. I say we don't see it as a thing that they could do, even though they're also a highly militarized culture that well, it's a military culture that's willing to destroy entire planets to prevent and their own people in order to prevent corruption from outside sources. So, you would think that you would have some kind of discipline form. In fact, the way Quantum does, you're disobeying orders, boom, you're dead. That's it. I just killed you. That's the discipline.
The terrorists in Macross 7. The one that are all disrupted by the Proto-Devlin presence.
Do they torture anybody then?
They beat them up. They tie them up and beat them up. Is that not torture?
Who they tie up?
The people that they didn't kill in the building when they were storming to take, I was going to say Mylene, Milia.
Milia's office, in the stratosphere, in space.
Well, I'm talking about the building. Most of the building isn't above the dome.
Yeah, but her office is. Like, between her and space is just a window. But yeah. I'm
just saying that your whole argument is based off of the we don't see thing, and I'm thinking that the counter to that is Zentradi are a whole race of people that have evolved over time, so... And by evolved over time, I mean, like, the character of the Zentradi people, not like the race is evolving. And not to mention, we have to also include all of the quarter Zentradi and half Zentradi in that argument.
Yeah, no, but I think what I'm trying to say here is that up to this point, remember, this is a follow-up to Lovers, Do You Remember Love? Zentradi, who are also perfectly willing to destroy entire planets.
Well, yeah, in that case, in the movie, they do take them hostage and torture them.
No, they just question it. They never torture anybody.
Well, you said you said Quam Zim, but they do. Has it Roy? I think Roy gets tortured.
No, Roy gets killed. No, Roy gets killed because he goes into combat with one guy and he just gets.
No, I'm not talking. Obviously, I'm not talking. You can make that argument for like just about anyone who ever died. Hey, he didn't get tortured. He got killed. I'm talking about before he got killed. Obviously.
No, they get captured.
One of that group gets hurt in that place.
I think it's a recreation of the same thing. Like I said.
Well, no, because you're invoking. I want to say Kilroy all of a sudden. The cousin turned executive. He doesn't get that done to him in the movie, but one of them does. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. In fact, they even go into negotiations between the Centrons and the humans later on. Right?
SDF Macross. Do you remember?
Yeah. Love?
No, just do you remember? Yeah. You say, you mean love? I was like, no, I don't remember. I don't remember that.
The next point then.
What was that point?
Well, my point was the obligatory torture scene.
Okay, I didn't remember we were still talking about the prophecy and whatnot. Even the non-new Macross features mind control. Legit cannot be Macross without mind control.
Well, this came first, so I guess it's the first instance of mind control. And then and then that's one of the things that got copied over with Mac Plus. I don't care what
came first. It's not the order we're watching it in. You're like breaking down a joke, essentially.
Ah, yes. Not that funny. So SNN, it's a propaganda dissemination organization? No, but yes. Because that's what the torture or question was like.
Argument would be that it's a disinformation engine.
Well, that could still be a propaganda engine.
Well, propaganda is more towards getting people to think what you want them to think. Disinformation is more about not letting them know what you want them to not know, or not letting them know what they would otherwise know.
Or also this information would be lying to people.
This is a whole definitions of words thing, and I'm not going to go down that road again. I think I've made a vow, because every time we do this, I instead of my argumentative brain activating, I just like, let's just not do this. Too many video edits have turned into, okay, where does the argument start? 20 minutes. There we go. The Marduk only sing songs for war. That's their conceit in Ishtar's original confusion about Earth culture. So it confuses me then when she starts singing and the Marduk on the ship recoil at being contaminated. They aren't the Zentradi. They are familiar with songs and use them for control and fighting. So I'm just not sure how they could be contaminated by some random piece of hummed music. I mean, they say alien song, but again, she's basically humming it, at which point it's more of a tune. Do they get contaminated by random noises, or is it the intent behind the noises? If freestyle jazz, electronica, and stomp have taught me anything, music is what you make of it. Just seems very non-specific to say this causes contamination.
I mean, it could very well be how thin the control really is over them, right? It's like, oh, we have all this control. Like in authoritarian governments, we have control of our people and all that. Oh, they're watching a show that, it's like the Cold War, right? We don't want them to watch shows from the West because they're going to introduce thoughts about, capitalism and all that, right? It's that weakness of totalitarian governments that they are totalitarian. They want complete control, and anything that deviates from that, it becomes a threat.
Well, remember again, the songs are only really for the Zentradi, but they're implying that the Marduk are also being contaminated by the music.
Yeah, because it introduces something outside of their war setting. All the Marduk apparently are also warlike, kind of like Zentradi, and anything outside of that is like, oh, no, this is dangerous, right? We can't have you thinking in other ways, because if you start thinking other ways, you start thinking of all the possibilities outside of this, and if you start thinking about those possibilities, it's like,
you really
well,
maybe I don't have to do this.
You have to do this, you might well do this, and we don't want you to do that because it goes against my, the Lord Emperor Ingus.
This is legit just the storyline of 2112.
Yeah.
Literally, we've outlawed music because it encourages free thought, and we run everything out of our great computers, and then the kid finds a guitar in a cave and starts playing it, and he confronts the high priests. But, hey, listen to this thing I found, and no, we're going to exile you and kill you to get rid of this thing. Like, legitimately, 2112 is just Macross.
Yeah, Fahrenheit 420 or 451, I think it is.
You mean the temperature at which books burn?
Yeah.
It's the tagline of the book.
I know. Same situation, right? We're punishing wrongthink, or even the possibility of wrongthink.
Well, wrongthink is 1984.
Yes, I know, but it's a wider concept, whether it's in 1984, or in Fahrenheit 451, or in here in Macross 2 Lovers Again. Even though they don't use those exact words.
This is probably the weirdest review ever. Putting Macross 2 Lovers Again in the same category as 1984.
I'm not saying that they have the same quality.
Oh, you heard it here first. Lessons is saying they're exactly the same. These two are exactly the same in quality.
Far from it. My next note. Sending a mind control Hibiki back to Earth makes some sense. Spies are potentially useful, and it allows Fef to keep his word to Ishtar. Because earlier it was like, oh yeah, I send them off to Earth, back to Earth. Like, what do we do with him? Well, let's send him back to Earth as a mind-controlled slave. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, were you saying that as though you were Fef, or are you telling me to go ahead?
No. That's Fef saying that.
Okay, because it's like, ahead. You're still in the same breath. It's like, no commentary, go ahead. Well, because you, looked at camera, it wasn't like an impression anymore. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Mind control.
Yeah. Not here. Plus, I don't see any glowing yellow balls.
I would avoid those. In any universe.
Not me. Dan to Dan, they give you spiritual powers. Although there are one specific guy's 2 glowing yellow balls, but...
Yeah.
The confusing shot where it seemed like Fef had been killed, that was a room of those red mobile suits, and not specifically Fef standing in the middle of the explosion. A very confusing visual to show us when the guy chasing our main characters is in one of those. I can only assume it was meant to be a fake out to make you think for a minute that Ishtar may be dead before showing Fef again.
I think I skipped over that particular scene, so...
No, we talked about it in the reaction.
I know. But when I was rewatching it, I just kept it. It was like battle. Okay, where's the important parts? Also running out of time, so yeah, only do so much. That Valkyrie has an infinite missile cheat mod installed. Keep
The
firing missiles
future
after missile. Yeah, I guess,
could just have a
microfab
yeah. That's what you're about to say.
microfabrication missile warheads, and I guess not really, but
I mean, could got enough extra material in there, siphon some of the jet fuel for whatever. Jet fuel and gas.
well, not jet fuel, but
And by gas,
would
I mean
be
gases, not gas.
yeah, propellant. What?
So are you talking about Fef?
Nope.
Fef is really trying to guilt trip Ishtar for what the Emperor did to a contaminated ship, but at the end of the day, Fef got her out of there, and according to Elenge, she's still contaminated herself. All he's done is brought her along so she can contaminate some other Marduk if she so chooses. So either Fef is a colossal idiot, or doesn't understand his own guilt in what he's doing, while guilt-tripping her.
I think he's conflicted. Or something we hear later on that he says to her, he basically confesses to her, like, I gotta follow orders, but I don't want to hurt her. But this is a problem. But
I don't know
I think
why
he's
you have
trying
to
to
be
convince
coy
her.
about it, because we started with the board where it already indicated a purple arrow.
Yeah. Well, not coy. He basically confesses to her at the end of the
No, I'm saying you're
5,
being coy about it by not saying that part where he confesses.
Well, I just said it. I just stopped being coy and I just said
I said you're being coy about it. If you take the timeline of the conversation, everything before I said you're being coy, you said he says something later. And it's like, why are you being coy about it? We already know it's on the board.
Corrected myself.
After I said that you were being coy.
You remember that oath that you made?
I made an oath about not going into the definitions of words. You're trying to backtrack yourself into not sounding stupid, and I'm saying, I said coy, and then you stopped being coy. That's the timeline of events.
Okay. Mate. It's okay.
I know it's okay. See, it takes two to tango, right? You want to argue sometimes just as much as I seem to.
Yeah.
And you don't want to look dumb a lot more than I do, I feel like. I feel like every time I've ever said, I don't care, I just automatically take the I look dumb card. I don't care sometimes anymore.
That was your, that was your note. So I get to go to my next note. And the Centrati all graduated from the Stormtrooper Firearms Academy. Because they couldn't hit shit. At least outside of their mechs. When they're in the mechs, they can hit everything.
Shit.
When they're not, they just
When they're
miss.
in their mechs, they can hit shit. Well, I mean, they're main characters. As I said, main characters have plot armor. That's what makes them non-interesting in fight scenes. And that's what makes the bad guys interesting most of the time. In better shows. When shows that have faceless mooks all over the place, it's less interesting. And that just makes the entire combat less interesting. The thing is that it's not like it was 80s, 90s, where the visual spectacle was not as ever-present. I can hit random on YouTube and see a visual spectacle on par with most 80s and 90s anime. So
Sure.
I need more than that from what I'm watching a show. I can't just watch a 5 to 10 minute fight scene and be like, ooh, the colors. It's like, no, I care about the characters. I'm watching the show for characters. Give me more character moments. If the characters aren't threatened by this fight, then what do I care? It's just you didn't have enough story, right? Did you not have enough story for this episode and we needed to fill in?
I mean, well, it depends, because I think we'll go back and enjoy a lot of these scenes if they're well constructed. I do like good fight scenes in anime or otherwise, so it depends. If it's run-of-the-mill stuff, like in here, which I have a comment about later on the episode, where, the animation's all over the place, then it's less enjoyable.
Here's the thing. I've already existed through those eras, right? We get the Dragon Ball Z fight scenes, right, which is just like and like blinking from spot to spot. We can't animate that.
I never liked those.
So all we can do is
Yeah.
boom, 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 here, here, here. And then we go to Naruto, right, where they're showing the hand movements and everything. I can see when you're punching and the guy wipes your hand away and you keep doing that. It's like, okay, that's a step up. That's pretty cool. And then we get more and more involved as time goes on. We're not just seeing every hand motion. Things start looking fluid. They start doing extra crap that they wouldn't be able to do in the past. And it's like, okay, well, now that we're at that level, everything in the past kind of looks worse by comparison. And it's like, as I said, I can hit random on YouTube and see something on par with the current stuff. AI is making animated clips that are on par with stuff being produced like 10 years ago.
I don't defer on that one, yeah.
I'm just saying that if there's no point to the scene, storyline-wise, if the whole point of the fight is to show you a fight, that's not interesting. If I don't have any, as I mentioned 100 times, if I've mentioned it once, if there's no stakes in the fight, then the fight is pointless.
Yeah. Context is important.
Well, I'm including, when I say stakes, if I don't feel like the characters are threatened or they have something to lose, then there is no stakes, because the bad guys losing isn't really stakes, unless the bad guys are characters, which is sometimes a thing in shows that I've watched here on the channel, I mean. Where the bad guy characters are involved and can lose. You know, they aren't the plot armored bad guy. What do you call it? The part of the building supporting the weight.
Load bearing?
Yeah, they're not load bearing villains. The story doesn't have anywhere to go if you defeat the villain, one of those kind of villains. So a bunch of like storied side characters that could die at any point in the narrative. If they're not involved, and if the main characters have nothing to lose, or apparently will not lose, then there's no stakes in showing the fight, other than to fill time. And I can't think of any other reason.
That was your note, right?
I don't know what the note was.
My last note was about the stormtrooper. Oh yeah, that was my note. Then it will be your next note, because mine was about the stormtrooper.
I gotta say, architecture on the human side makes no sense. The Supreme Commander's room is a single desk and like 70% unused floor space. The news agency's control room is a platform that is 30% empty with 3 consoles and a boss's chair sitting on top of a massive pit. There's no rhyme or reason to some of these locations.
Yeah, they're going for a certain format of style, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of wasted empty space.
I don't think they're going for any format of style. I think they just had a bunch of pre-drawn stuff and used it. Like, why would the room with literally 3 consoles sitting in like a rhomboid fashion and a seat, why would that be the news control center? Sitting over a pit, by the way. What's the point of the pit?
My next point. Fef doesn't give a fuck about your impurities, man. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take her. Doesn't matter. If it's impurity. Well, that's somebody else's problem, not mine. There I go. I'll save my girl.
I almost had a note about who the fuck is he talking to. Because when he shoots that guy, is the guy on the floor. And the other 2 guys in the room are basically blending in with the console. So until like later in the scene, you see them. Like, oh yeah, we'll do what you're saying. It looks like he just shot the only other guy in the room and then started throwing out commands.
Yeah, because they're wearing this sort of cybernetic suit thing that is also very dark.
It's like black and purple. Dark purple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, this next one is my final note. The main base or flagship of the Marduk has the power to fold energy itself to any location it wants. And the Emperor would rather kamikaze their own units into things that use the I win button at his disposal. Hell, worse than that, he uses the I win button to kill even more of his own men. He calls for the Song of Death to ensure that the threat is eliminated because of the will of Alice, and the fact we have the ship of Alice, possibly. Then why not fold in an explosion on top of the ship of Alice? The bad guy makes no sense, and that lack of sense removes my investment in them.
I mean, could he actually do that anywhere?
Yes, anywhere you can use a fold device, I'm assuming you could. The SDF Macross folded from atmosphere. They say that's a dangerous thing, only an insane person would do, but they did it, implying it's possible. And also, this isn't folding out of an atmosphere, this would be folding something into the atmosphere, and it's not you, it's an explosion.
Conceivably, they could do this, but I don't know if they would.
I have no idea why they couldn't. I don't know what you're imagining to say that they couldn't. Literally, you can fold places by accident. How could you not fold there on purpose?
No.
They could
I
have
still
just
have a lot of
they
notes
could have
left.
just sat back there wherever the hell they were and just folded in explosions all over the Earth. They could have folded explosions at the fleet at Mars if they wanted. The only time this guy has ever used it was to blow up his own men.
Yeah.
He is one of those bad guys in a movie that shoots his own subordinates to prove to everyone else how serious he is. That is fucking dumb. This guy is dumb.
Well, I have many more notes, so I'm not even done with this episode yet. So I'll go to my next one. This is supposed to be the time that Sylvie and Hibiki bond, but while it makes for a good friendship scene, it also feels like a very ham-fisted scene to me. Consider they're in the heart of an enemy vessel and hundreds of Centrali are hunting for them, and they are not on foot, but in a Valkyrie. Sure, we are told that they can be tracked inside the ship, but then moments later, we see that they are indeed being tracked. So, yeah, it's like, oh, let's have this moment where we talk about it, and you record her, and and like, cool, I guess? But
I mean, I didn't see it as a bonding moment. Didn't see it as a
yeah,
bonding moment. I mean, they've already had these moments. This is near the end of the show. They are at where they're already at. I'm gonna say relationship. I just mean like general, the term relationship wise.
Yeah,
they are where they're at. This is just more of the same. This isn't God, so many M names. This isn't Hikaru
and
Misa in the pit situation. Both
yeah.
times, by the way, 2 times they've been in a pit together.
When they fell, well, actually, I think it was Hikaru who fell into the water, and Misa pulled her out. Yeah, and they have that conversation in the ship, and then later on,
ship, but I'm also talking about just outside the movie theater.
Yeah, when they were transforming and they got stuck in the pit as well. Yeah. Now, for something you said about her leaning into him, the way I saw it when I saw it again was this way. It is less that Sylvie's leaning into Hibiki and more that she is trying to stop him from going to Ishtar and getting himself killed.
I don't know what the hell you're talking
shows
about.
Up,
no, not that thing. I mean, you mentioned Hibiki leaning into him. I don't know what you're talking about. What did I say?
Okay, basically, Fef comes in, right, to rescue or take Ishtar away, right? And has a scene where she's like going through the air and he captures her. And you have a moment where Sylvie stops Ishtar. Like, he's like, oh, I want to try to get Gertrude. Like, stops it. But she kind of and there's a frame where she kind of leans in very close to him, right? Like, they're very close. And then it's like, okay, no, let's go. We can't do anything here. And grabs Hibiki by the hand and takes him out. But to me, it basically was always, he's like, no, oh no, save me. He's kind of, you said something like, oh no, she's leaning in like, oh my God, I'm defenseless. It's more like, don't be an idiot. We're gonna get killed if you go and try to get Ishtar because he's in a giant robot and we're
I know
not.
what you're talking about now. I disagree. I mean, I still see it the way I'm seeing it, mostly because of the body language. If she was trying to hold him back from doing something stupid, I think she'd have completely different body language. She was doing the traditional Southern Belle collapse into male figure chest pose, and that's why it reads to me as really weird to her character, the strength of her character that she's been showing the entire time. So it still reads to me the same way as I said before. So I guess just disagree.
And the last note on episode 4: no, Sylvie, I will not ask you how you were saved. No need to explore more plot holes here. Because she says, oh, I don't know how we got saved, but we're saved. And it's like, yeah, ship shows up, you're saved. Next episode. So don't think about it.
Oh, no, they said the commander got that ship for them. And we already know that her ship has a tracker on it.
But the fact that they would get close enough with a single ship to an enemy fleet to try and find her specifically where they were, it's a big iffy. Right? Like, well, we're going to give you one ship. maybe you could survive. Maybe.
I mean, I
Go
would
ahead.
argue that the stupidity on display here isn't that. It's the previous discussion that we had about the fact that they could track like ships folding in around Jupiter and moving to Mars and everything, but they couldn't track Fef's ship in orbit around Earth.
Yeah. Or the moon, because also he jumped into the moon as well and attacked. So, and then my note on episode 5, Station Break. Rainbow colors full sequence activated. Which is I just noticed. I'm not offended by it. It's just like, oh, it's cool. I guess they're going full rainbow. Although that kind of fits a little bit with what happened in Macross originally, but Macross was a little more white colored rather than a full rainbow thing. But yeah.
Well, no, they've gone full white. Sorry, your whole I'm not offended by it. You don't know how many comments I have to defend against the channel logo having a rainbow flag in the back. I was commenting. Maybe I shouldn't make comments on the channel. Maybe I should have some sort of secondary thing that I watch videos and comment in, because somebody was making a comment about, I bet you dumb idiots are still wearing masks today. Yeah, those are the things I'm in. I'm like, yeah, I started chemo during the pandemic. I'm still wearing masks today because I can't. You idiots are still. I didn't say you idiots, but you people are like this.
Yeah.
And one of the immediate responses is like, we all know you're gay. You don't have to advertise it with your logo thing. And I like tried to be human, right? I was talking about the fact that I've got cancer. This is why this shit is important to me. Yeah, we all know you got gayser or whatever the fuck, some combination of gay and cancer. The sort of conversations I get in.
Yeah, 12-year-old on Xbox Live going, throwing slurs, kind of stupidity. Like,
well, no, I mean, we also get like sometimes comments in the channel, like, you'd probably get more views if you didn't have that gay, you weren't advertising your sexuality. Because again, the rainbow flag, it's there for support.
It's a whole thing. I got it out a lot of community, like, oh, you got pronouns in your bio. It's like, yeah, we all use them. What's your point? Like, oh my God, you're completely off the rocker and we can't talk about anything because pronouns. I'm like,
I mean, my point of view is that even if we would get more views if I didn't have it up there, they wouldn't be the kind of people I would want to talk to. And if it's not the kind of people I want to interact with, it's not the kind of people I want around here enjoying this stuff, right? So I think we both watched that Steve guy who does the Star Trek stuff, Steve something like that.
Yeah.
And his whole... Yeah, he's got that whole argument about people who are like, can't you just go back to Star Trek and stop talking politics? And it's like, look, you don't enjoy this, get the fuck out. It's not here for you.
Yeah.
If you're sober upset because you see the rainbow flag behind a Gundam head or whatever, fuck off. I don't know what to tell you. If you're getting that angry about something that literally does not involve you at all.
Yeah, it exists. God, no.
Yeah, poke your head in someone else's butt.
Oh, that. Yeah. Talk about white spaces and all that. We couldn't afford a proper background, so we made it all white with some silhouettes. Like the commander's like, I'm gonna look outside the window, and it's like just bright white with a teeny silhouette to the city. I'm like, okay, I could have done that myself, and I suck at drawing. I can barely do a stick figure, and I could probably pull that off.
I mean, that's classic anime. Yeah, I was like classic 80s anime, but classic anime nonetheless.
Yeah.
Because it costs more to do full black. Classically, what Batman, the anime series, is known for, that they did everything in reverse. It's dark tones, and then you draw the lighter tones on top of it to make the black stand out more. But, also black is anyone who's printed a lot knows it's a more expensive color.
Yeah, it's all the colors at once. And here's where the animation really starts to tank, especially around the battle sequences. It's not that it's universally awful, but rather that it's very inconsistent. One set of frames looks good, but the next looks pretty awful in comparison. Like you get a close-up where they're ripping apart a Valkyrie or something like that. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then the next one is like kinetic explosion, off-color kind of thing. You're like, and the details just wash away in the background. Like, it pushes back, and you can barely see the shape of the robot doing anything. Like, it's doing like this. It's like, what are you doing? Something,
I mean, again, it still was down to my whole point about what's the point of a fight scene. If it's not a visual spectacle, if it doesn't have anything to do with the plot, if it doesn't put the characters in danger, then what's the point?
Well, the
You could
idea of that particular
legitimately
battle
just tell
scene.
us while the main characters are doing something, there's a battle going on outside, and be fine. Star Wars, right? Star Wars Episode 3. Most of that battle that's happening isn't on screen. We just know it's happening. We just saw like one shot of it, and then the rest of the characters are doing stuff as that battle's happening, and we just happen to know. Literally, you get shots of Luke and the Emperor talking about the battle, looking out a window where the battle is implied to be taking place. You don't have to show us the battle, especially if you're not going to be good at it. So,
Yeah. But I think the idea is that this is a very desperate battle that they're trying to keep. Well, there's a couple of things going on in that battle, which I'll talk about in my next notes. 3-day imprisonment for what could be termed an act of treason by Hibiki seems pretty light, but I guess the writers don't want to position the military, at least the human military, as oppressive, but rather as misguided. Quote, never attribute to malice what you can be adequately explained by stupidity, plus a strong streak of overconfidence.
I mean, it makes more sense for Sylvie than it does Hibiki.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it doesn't make much sense for Sylvie either. Court-martial her after the fight. But, I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking during the fight. It's like 3 days. Oh, that's pretty good. I'll take that. Thought you were going to send me to Rikers. Well, okay, I'll take this. This is pretty good.
Plus, the other guys were torturing me and were planning to to brainwash me. So this 3 days, I can do 3 days easy. Although, yeah, the whole military police, piling up on him. He's not even moving. You're like, what the fuck? I'm not even moving.
I mean, I still disagree with everything going on. Like, he's like, the military's lying to you, know the truth and whatnot. Well, it's like, yeah, they're also dying for you. So it's not for nothing. At the end of the day, your knowledge about what's going to happen isn't going to affect anything. I think you'd probably be better served by dying in ignorance than worrying to death. There's literally a bunch of medical stuff about not finding out problems that you can't do anything about because it'll just make you worse. One, either trying to treat a problem that you can't do anything about, or worrying about it will set your health worse. In this case, there's no reason to cause a panic if legitimately nobody can do anything.
To my next point, the thing everyone who has ever played a space-based video game or an RTS knows, the battle's not over if the other side can keep bringing up more and more numbers. Like, yeah, we blasted all those guys to hell and back. Oh shit, they brought more people.
Well, they said that. They said there's 1,300 people, possibly triple that amount, though.
And then more keep jumping in and we're like, I think we have a problem.
Well, you never know how many. Problem is that they're invaders. You only know how much you have. You don't know how much they have because they're coming from somewhere else.
The Song of Death kind of looks like VAR syndrome.
I mean, it's literally called Marduk syndrome. We commented on that at the beginning of the episode.
They're called the Song of Death.
No, the episode title.
No, it's the episode is Marduk Disorder, and it's not this one. It's
By the way,
the
you're
previous
kind
one.
of lagging a bit. You keep freezing up and then catching up to yourself.
I think that Marduk Disorder is not about the Song of Death. It's about the whole thing with Ishtar and singing and disrupting the way the Marduk are doing. It's not the name for the Song of Death. They have the Song of Death, call it that.
Doesn't mean anything.
And veins pop up and blood starts coming out.
That doesn't mean anything, though. I'm saying that it's not another name for it. The title of the episode isn't diegetic.
Yeah, so, okay. What's your point again?
What are you trying to stop, by the way?
I'm trying to think.
One thing, but my voice is coming in through the headset. You should be like doing something with the head. Hold on a sec. This is like, are you afraid of the ghost dad thing we had a conversation about? I'm going to reach to the screen or something?
No, I just
Do
trying
you
to figure out
catch
what
in
you're trying to say.
balls nobody can see?
What are you trying to say? Because now I'm confused. I said VAR
You said
syndrome.
it's
You're
like
like,
VAR
oh yeah,
syndrome. I said, yeah, it's Marduk disorder. Or I said it's Marduk syndrome, but Marduk disorder, whatever. It's implied by the title of the episode. Except it'd be
I
implying
don't
it
think they're
before
the
VAR
same
syndrome.
thing. They're not the same thing.
Technically, it is, because you see her singing the Song of Death, and then you see the Zentradi, like, veins literally start creeping through their face, and they start bleeding from the mouth. It's almost exactly like VAR syndrome of what we see, except the blood.
Yeah, I know.
So, like,
That's
worse than
that's a
VAR syndrome.
comparison. That's a
Then I
comparison.
don't understand what you're questioning. Now I'm doubling down on this thing where you're saying, what is your point? No, I'm saying now, what's your point? Asking what my point is, because it seems pretty clear to me.
Because you connect that with the Marduk disorder, but I don't think that there's a connection there, because I believe what they're talking about, the Marduk disorder, is the presence of Ishtar and what she's doing, her humming and
said
singing.
that. You don't have to double down on that. You've said that.
Yeah,
and I've already described I've already said why I think it's the other way. You understand that VARS syndrome doesn't affect VARS. The Marduk, the VAR people are infected by VARS. The Marduk are the ones doing that to the Zentradi. In much the same way that VARS is the cause of the syndrome, the Marduk is the cause of the disorder.
But I don't think it's a disorder. I think it's a weapon that they're using. It's not.
Yeah, you mean like kind of the same way that Messer, infected by VARS, became a better fighter? So the thing the Marduk are doing to the Zentradi are making them better fighters? I don't know why you would
call it Marduk disorder. That's the part that I'm not getting.
Because it's the name of the episode.
It's not even the name of the episode. That's the previous episode. This episode is called Station Break. We're talking about the fifth episode, not the fourth. So you're bringing something from the fourth episode to the fifth episode.
You know, kind of like a narrative would. Everything in the fifth episode is based off of episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a fight of your picking, by the way. I want to point that out. I didn't keep going.
I don't understand your point.
I don't understand why you keep asking what my point is. I explained it once, and then you're like, I think he's sufficiently wrong that I should continue doing this for another 10 minutes. I told you what my point is. I don't see that your argument holds any weight to stopping what I think. So, if you want to continue to fight this fight, you go ahead. I just don't know where you're planning to go with it.
You know what? I just have one more note, and that's going to be it. In episode 5, Station Break. And now it all depends on the chip of Alice, because Emperor Ingus graduated from the same school of world domination as Lord Jibril.
Didn't wait a minute. I forgot who Jibril was, because I was thinking about Macross. I didn't realize you were going to go jumping to Seed for some reason.
Yeah, Seed Destiny.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
You said Lord Jibril, and I was thinking, God, he really does hate Macross 7. Because what's his name? Kind of has a similar tone to that.
Call them. Yeah. No.
But then again, he wasn't trying to take over anything. He was trying to create a viable, renewable food system. Which, at the end of the day, not a horrible thing to try and plan. I mean, it's a horrible thing based on how the food is gotten, but at the end of the day, it's not like I'm going to conquer the world and be like, okay, and then what are you going to do next? Like, nobody ever fucking knows. It's the Joker thing. I'm just a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do when I got it. It's like, okay. Because a lot of characters that are just base, flat, have no idea what they're going to do when they take over the world. Just, I want to take over the world. Well, what's his name from Macross 7 was just like, hey, we're going to starve all the time unless we eat everything in the galaxy, and that's pretty dumb. So what if we just, made an infinite food source? And it's like, yeah, that's a pretty good plan. And also, it doesn't involve what are you going to do after, because fuck it, that's not part of my plan. Literally, there's not going to be an after unless I complete my plan. And, Gold, not Gold, Gould. No, Gould was plus. Gold, his SDF, was literally, doesn't matter. He wasn't about conquering the planet. If your only plan is to kill a thing, then you're done when the thing is killed.
Yeah.
Sharon Apple, who fucking knows? Who fucking knows what Sharon Apple was up to?
Ingus seems to be in the same track. You just want to kill everything and move on to the next conquest /
We don't know what the Marduk are up to because we don't explore what the rest of the galaxy is like. The Marduk came, they captured some Zentradi and made an army out of them. And that's it. They're a warrior society that we know nothing about. It's basically the Independence Day aliens. Apparently there's a greater universe out there that they've been, like, taking over planets and eating up resources, but God knows what the fuck is happening.
Just like Independence Day 2, we never left the solar system to find out. Yeah.
Well, we've been reversing their technology.
Engineering, yeah.
Yeah, so
Still
we got
happen here
to the
as well.
moon. We had a fully operational moon base.
That's it.
Well, even the aliens of Independence Day slow rolled their way into the system. There's no evidence that they were moving faster than light or anything, so yeah, even if we did, it was what? A human lifespan. Jeff Goldblum looks like he aged however many years there were between the two movies, right? 20 years?
Yeah, about more than that, more like 30.
Yeah, so
Most of the movie was in the
legitimately,
90s,
even if we did like reverse engineer their stuff and make a spaceship, wouldn't have left the solar system yet. So, for all we know, it's a background thing that wasn't in the movie. Like we did, and it got blown up by the incoming new alien mothership. Oh,
Well, those were
would have been a cool way to start that movie.
Yeah.
Same way with
exploring.
the moon shaking and the footprint getting dissolved away.
Yeah.
Having like a NASA thing, like, oh yeah, just reporting in, we're crossing the past Jupiter, and that would be a good way to show how big that ship is, like by comparing it to the largest planet of the solar system, and then blowing that ship up and like, we have a problem.
Yeah. Oh well, those were my notes on Macross 2 Lovers Again. The OVA so far.
So far. Okay, well, nothing left to do here, I guess, but hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Louder than I remember leaving it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listening to the song again, taking my notes. Yeah. As I think I may have said this before, not enough time to let it build on me.
Yeah.
It's very generic. Well,
I think for me, it's again, and I'll probably talk about this when this is over, this episode anyway. Nostalgia, right? Because it reminds me when I first saw it. Regardless of how I felt about it, it's like, oh yeah, that's the song, and it sort of stuck with me from back then. So
I don't know. There's plenty of anime I have nostalgia for that the music just doesn't hold up.
Huh? This did. For me, it did.
Again, it's very generic, and I say that as somebody who's like watching a bunch of like 90s anime, like not all at once, like one a season or something like that,
But it wasn't just that this is anime. It's Macross, right? It was the thing I was so little of it was in the States, because this and Macross Plus were only had been out to this one. The only thing that had been released until recently, where everything else has now has been released due to the agreement with Harmony Gold. But yeah. By the way, I was gonna make a note out of this, but the animation of the faces, especially in the last 2 episodes, reminds me so much of the Fatal Fury anime movie. Especially Pep.
God, it's been forever since assuming we're talking about the same one. It's been forever since I've seen that movie. I want to say I saw that like in 99 or something. No, it would have been earlier than that.
Wow. Yeah, the quality just went down real quick.
This guy did not look that old the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
Slight risk, just a slight one. Or, get on the SDF Macross. There's a whole city inside. They were literally going to let him take him.
No, they were saying, "Oh, we don't have any." Oh. He got punched. Sing along. Yeah, this is I remember why I ended up not liking the series. The dip of the animation in the last episode was like
I
almost
legit
greater.
don't even tend to care about that stuff. I remember when me and Griff first started watching Gundam Seed. There's certain shots in there where people's faces I described as looking like Gumby faces, like, oh god, your face melt, what happened? Time to break into the ship we already broke into before. Another Macross staple. Bright white explosions in the background, clearly hitting nothing. Well, at least the side characters get some action. And this time, not with a captain.
Wow. Yeah.
See? Classic move. Those are kind of like the laser shots from Gunbuster. They come out of the ship and then they bend at a right angle for some reason. And that is like the attack from the Dalos. Conceivably, that episode where they said there's a giant blind spot over the Earth where we can't track everything is already an opening.
Yeah.
Literally no reason to fold your command ship here. Especially since you have the power to fold explosions. I will say the only thing Lord Ignis does have going for him, he's probably the coolest looking villain.
Ow.
Actually, I'll say second. Third if we're still counting Britai. I'll say Lord Geppernick actually looks pretty cool. Human form.
Yeah. We're gonna restore it with floppy disk.
Come on, man. She's got to have like a whole 4 kilobytes of information stored on those.
About like 3 megabytes worth. Each one is 1.5.
To be fair, it's probably the future, so it's probably like even more than that. We put all our money in enhancing magnetic drives.
I like the redesigns of the classic mechs. It's just that if they had better detail, it looked much better.
Of course, floating eyeball in the sky. That's the only reason we folded in. So, of course, we didn't have the budget for giant nuclear explosions in the skies, and the reason monsters wouldn't be firing nukes. But, by golly, we can draw as many straight white lines as we need for the laser fire.
That was oh, well, it has nothing to do with me. Bye.
Form version 1.
That's the operating system, I guess.
I assume it's the first form of the Macross now. I mean, of course, we already know Ishtar can activate the ship with, like, a hand touch to a screen.
敵母艦を撃ち抜くためには正確な情報が必要なの。失敗は許されない。この一撃にかけるわ。
So, the thing we didn't get from the SDF Macross movie, do you remember, Love? The destruction of the Earth, and the Earth shot back at Golg.
Yeah.
So if you only watch this timeline and those two movies, you miss out on that. Which was like the most badass thing UN Spacey has ever done, ever.
司令、敵母艦の座標データを。
敵は大気圏内に大量に侵入している。母艦を叩けば戦況も変わる。頼んだぞ、シルビー。
了解。
I mean, this is probably why you don't put all of your command structure into one ship.
ここには人が住んでいた。恋の歌に満ちていたんだわ。
Ah, she remembers love.
浮上します。
Back in my head's trying to keep pushing stuff that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Technically, Quam Zim never rammed the ship because it doesn't happen in the movie.
No, it doesn't happen.
And technically, the whole Sharon Apple incident doesn't happen because that doesn't happen in this timeline.
No, none of that happens in.
Cool, we drew it with watercolors, I guess.
Oh, I didn't know they had all those weapons last time.
I was thinking more it's 24 letters off and 2 numbers away from the RX-78. Sorry, 20 numbers away. It's like 8 kilometers away from the minimum range of the other Macross ships we saw an episode ago. Given the runtime of the episode so far, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Oh, that ship never wins. That was the number 2 carrier we saw cracking on its arm. How many times has that ship been destroyed in SDF Macross? Like 4? Well, that's not a that's not a visual that's gonna age well.
Age well, yeah.
I also think this is incredibly dumb. We survived just barely, being almost wiped out by a, what, like 14 million strong fleet, and now this fleet, which is maybe 6,000 ships, We didn't rebuild to the point that we could handle this again.
I mean, the population would have been necessary for that.
This is
I mean,
80 years after that versus what we did in the normal timeline. Remember when I kept arguing, oh, we must have been cloning ourselves like shit. I've got a boyfriend. His name is Nex, and he will kick your ass. What happened to your chin, by the way?
yeah.
No, but seriously,
And the peripheral
her and Nex were a
vision, too.
thing. Like, it seemed to have been
Yeah.
indicated even more strongly. By the way, why is nobody targeting the ship that just fired into the atmosphere?
Yeah.
And by the way, the two people that have been, like, the main couple the entire show.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels very rushed and nonsensical.
なぜだイシュタル、なぜこんな星に思いを寄せる、なぜ惑わされる、アルスの船などと。
Meanwhile, I believe we call it the Tower. No, the Watchtower. It's literally what
Oh,
the Justice
the-
League is.
The
規模艦は大気圏内にまで入り込んだ。一刻の猶予も許されぬ。これが
Don't worry, Nex, you're currently being cucked as we speak.
最後の作戦なのですね。その通りだ。
Correct, he's no, just- My other problem with the scenarios like this is that the Marduk are targeting the entire Earth, right? So there really shouldn't be any center position for us to have invested in them, like, defending or whatnot. It's literally the entire Earth. That was the difficulty in, like, the first episode of Voltace 5, where the entire Earth, and you just get, like, radio transmissions, 5 million dead in this city, or the entire U.S. Atlantic Fleet just got sunk. They at least tried.
Yeah, the power of the writer's pen. Yeah, that's what brought them together.
No, what brought us together is I thought she was having an affair with a really old guy at a hotel.
True.
By the way, I'm still a reporter. What's going on there?
やってみよう、シルビー。俺たちだってマクロスの力を信じてここにいるんじゃないか。もう一度かけてみないか？アルスの船に。
Also, this isn't the Macross's power. This is the power of singing again.
Yeah. I mean, it is my.
Well, that's not the power of Macross. That's so yeah, it's just not even the power of humans because she's the one singing. It's the power of song.
I thought she was dead.
I will say this is the one time the whole why don't they just turn off the radios thing wouldn't work because they have to keep their radios on to keep the emulators to the Zentradi. Which the Zentradi were just too stupid to turn off their own radio. Oh, buddy, calm down there a little bit. Mostly songs of sorrow, though. Especially if you're into country music. really disrespectful to the Macross. One, it couldn't shoot anything effectively. Then it got destroyed like one hit.
いえイングス様、もはやこの地は滅びました。それ以上に何をお望みというのでしょう。
Like I said, he uses his near infinite power just to wipe out his own people. It's a bit cross-eyed there, are you, buddy?
Yes.
Who knew the head can
cockpit
just float?
survived. Yeah.
See, I was almost going to anticipate that they just folded out in the middle of the explosion, so it looked like they were dissolving away, but they were folding somewhere else. I mean, to be fair, if you continue to let him do this, there's going to be less people for you to fight, in case whatever you're planning doesn't work. You should just, like, strategically hold back for a bit. Let him continue to be an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Not for nothing, he's, like, killed all the emulators we've ever seen on screen. He's already losing control, this Centrati.
And the Marduk, because the emulators are Marduk.
Well, he's not losing control of them, they're dead. I mean the fact that he needs the emulators to keep the Centrati in line. Like, one emulator controls however many Centrati can hear them. Well, he kills the emulators, Centrati are going to be, as we've heard many times, confused. Not as dead as the video camera would lead you to believe.
I guess they just cut the feet, so it's like, cut the feet.
I'm guessing this is whatever video file I have called Message from Ishtar. I have two versions, one where she speaks it and one where she sings it, but they're untranslated files, so I've got nothing for it. Never before have I seen such a villain pull defeat from the grasp of victory. Quick, we're winning. Destroy all our own ships.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if he's destroying every ship that he believes to be contaminated, why is he letting all the emulators stay alive? Time for another kamikaze?
地球の影より母艦を捉えました。
全訪問開け敵母艦を射抜くファイヤー
Well, it didn't work when one ship did it. Will it work if two ships do it? I mean, maybe if you targeted something that was worth destroying instead of, like, you know, hundreds of your own ships. Is that the Gloria? Well, I don't know the ships she was like seeing. Ah, go figure. Your own people are unhappy with being blown up. What the fuck is he?
cyborg or some sort? There seems to be cyborgs.
Well, it seems like he's just a bunch of tubes connected to the chair behind him, which looks like the face is
Yeah.
on the ground that just like incinerated. So it's like, is he just an amalgamation of like the 4 brains that are on the floor?
Maybe.
In which case, those were 4 really dumb brains.
I think it's a recreation of what happened. Do you remember, Love, that part of the ship itself, like, all connected to it?
This is like the dumbest villain. I do not see them ranking well. He's like the dumbest villain with the most powerful weapon we've ever seen. You remember in Delta when they had to carry dimension bombs across the space?
Yeah.
This dude would just fold them in. Oh, yes, to be fair, Gibril had the same power, didn't they? Not Gibril. Gepernick. Gepernick could, remember, fold the nukes out of space.
Yeah.
言ってしまうのね。ええ。みんなで新しい文化を築いていくわ。
You have a culture. You're not the Zentradi. You have your own culture.
心から歌を歌った。悲しみ。
In fact, you have 2 cultures.
そして希望。私はエミュレーターとしてマクロスが教えてくれた心をマルドゥークのみんなに伝えたいの。
Because they have the culture of what Emperor Ingenious was doing, plus the old prophet culture. Fuck you, I'm not watching this.
もらってくれよ。
ありがとう。大切にする。シルビー。
I guess this is the case where you ask the TSA asks you, did you pack your own bag? And you say no. Some weird guy ran up to me and handed it to me.
A wonderful rival.
イシュタルはきっと素晴らしい文化を育てていくわ。
Will she?
ああ。でも
Legitimately, I don't think she knows one Earth song, by the way.
探さなきゃならないのは
She got bombarded by like 20 songs at once. And that was the only time we've ever seen her.
Maybe that's what the case is about, right?
It was the 90s. We're going to create our own culture, and by that I mean I'm going to watch some movies.
Yeah.
This was a shitty ending. The villain was dumb
Yeah.
as bricks, died stupidly. I have no idea how Sylvie and Hibiki got into any sort of relationship. She still
Yeah.
has a boyfriend who, by the way, I guess doesn't know he's being cucked because I guess if you don't know you're being cucked, you're not being cucked, right?
Mm.
To be cucked, you have to know what's happening, or at least find out. Again, there's that other girl that wanted a chance at next, but again, if nobody knows that Sylvie's like moved on to a different guy, even she's not going to take her shot. And yeah, the Macross is gone.
Yeah.
Guess
Got
we're
rid
going
of
to
that
find a
one.
new name for the show. Oh, that's right, we're
Yeah.
not making it anymore. They saw our last episode and cut our funding.
I think they cut the funding before they had the last episode. They're like, yeah, this is not working. Well, we have one yen. That's not going to do more for much.
Well, I've still yet to rank this, obviously, on our overall Macross thing. Not to spoil something, but quite obviously, I'm probably going to give this the same score that you gave Macross 7. I'm not
it
a
doesn't
fan.
rate high.
I'm not a fan at all.
But-
This is not. For one, the music just felt very generic. I don't know what I missed where the Jamming Birds had such good music, and then, oh, that's music from Macross too. I was like, oh, good. I can't wait to hear it. Haven't heard it yet. Like, maybe I must have missed it, or this version is just the worst version. You know, where like a song you like, and if somebody says, oh, you know, somebody else's, this is actually a remake of that, a different song. And you go back and listen to the old ones, like, this sucks. This person did not know what they had in their hands. That's what I feel here. But again, the narrative is pretty dumb. I'm not a fan of Hibiki. The reporter as your main hero, I'm just not about it. Even his best moment of like, hey, everybody, this is what you don't know. I have counter arguments, but I think I'm siding more with the military than him. The relationships feel rushed and out of nowhere. Like, why
Yeah, that's
establish
true.
that Sylvie has an existing boyfriend who, by the way, we're making into a hero? I can't leave the space. If I back down here, they'll create an opening. I'd rather sacrifice myself than, not. It's like, why make him such a good guy to then, like, have her fall in love with a different dude?
I mean, you can still fall in love with someone else, even if the other person is essentially a good person. It's like, oh, that didn't work out.
It's not the point.
Feelings are feelings.
The point isn't about the relationship. The point is, why is the narrative making Nex a
Yeah.
guy that we want to like? Because if we make them a guy we want to like, and we like him, then seeing him being betrayed, or Sylvie betraying him, like, there's no, Nex, I fell in love with another guy or something. Like, she just instantly moves on. I'll tell him later. Well, that's not cool. This is like something we should talk about.
Well, I think the implementation wasn't that they were a couple yet, that they were getting into that. That they was like, oh, he's hitting on her, they're having a relationship, but they haven't gone to the point of like moving into each other's room
You're
or,
talking
like,
about
or
Nex?
house or yeah.
No, it's implied that they're a couple. Like, everyone's talking about them being a couple. It's not as being established. Like, Nex talks to her that way. All three girls in the fairy squadron talk to her that way. Like, one of the girls is literally, God, I hope they do break up so I have a chance. It's an established relationship if other people aren't moving in. But apparently Sylvie doesn't respect that, and she's moving out. So,
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, if we're all treating this as like adults, then we have a sit-down conversation first, and then you move on. You don't like, oh, actually, I've kind of been seeing him for a week now. You fucking bitch. I invested
that's exactly
my life
how
into this, Sylvie.
the original show ended in, let's have with the conversation. Literally, final conversation at the end. It's like, what do you want? What do I want? Well, this is what I want. Okay. Well, we're all adults here, so we do what we want to do. And that was the end of the show.
And God
literally,
forbid
the
the
last
conversation
scene.
you have to have with the Supreme Commander, who you've apparently been having an affair with a hotel. I'm just saying, why would you do this?
He's not even the Supreme Commander. Yeah.
No, he is the Supreme Commander.
No, he's just a commander.
No, he's the Supreme Commander. They literally list him as Supreme Commander.
Oh.
I didn't put it on the board because I made it up. They listed him as the Supreme Commander. I think that's why the people, when they're saying, is it Sylvie that did this? I think you need to recuse yourself of this and let us handle it. They don't say, you have to do this. No, he's the fucking Supreme Commander. They're trying to make him do this, but they don't have the authority to do so, I guess. Also, I guess why he gets her out after they've already locked her up for the 3-day thing, because he has the authority to do so. He can go over everyone's heads.
Also, state of emergency. We're fighting a war for our survival. She's our best pilot. Not that she actually goes and fights.
She's our best pilot, so the first thing we're going to do is not put her into anything.
Yeah.
In fact, we're so not going to put her in anything. She's not even going to wear a car. She's running up. She actually did. Sorry. I was being so flippant, I almost forgot that. Because I was thinking in my head, is that the same car that Mylene almost got SA'd in?
Yeah. It's not.
Everything from Macross 2 got pulled into Macross 7, including the car. I believe it was Billy that drove the car.
Mm-hmm. And he got his mind. No, not mind. Well, he got his anima sucked out of it. He was like,
Yeah, well, it just made him super depressive until he came back, because that's anima is. It's like mental energy, I would say. That's why they go into comas.
Spiritual energy. Yeah.
Well, no, it's spiritual, not spiritual.
Yeah.
I think it's mental energy because, again, you get super energetic when you've got more of it, but you also get depressed if you have too little of it, and then you go into a coma if you've got none of it. It's supposed to be some sort of energy related to emotionality, so I think it's mental energy. As I indicated to you in a message I sent you based on the Macross 30th anniversary thing, apparently the Star Singers, which I guess is something they invented for the 30th, before Delta, because Delta is the only show that brings up the Star Singers, but the 30th mentions Star Singers as having spirit God damn it, we just mentioned
Spirit Anima.
yeah, as having that. So I guess that would imply
Mhm.
also what's her name from Delta would have it.
Yeah.
But also
Ibumo.
the element that there are people pissed off at Basara in there because Basara is in there, but he's just flying around doing shit. Get out of our way. They go from super impressed that he's here and happy to see him to what the fuck is this guy doing?
Like everyone else when Basara shows up.
Yeah, but
What are
it's
you
the
doing?
element that it's Basara. At the end of the day, he's still the best. I also like the element that he's just been out there making friends with the Vajra. As I indicated, he made friends with space whales. Why would he make friends with the Vajra? And not for nothing, he's all about peace. The Vajra are technically about peace, even though they're more than willing to fight.
Yeah. It's a dangerous galaxy, after all.
They communicate through music. He communicates through music. He doesn't need full crystals to do it. So.
Yeah. No, he just needs a super backpack on his fighter, that's all.
Well, no, he doesn't. Well, he doesn't need that. He needs that for other things. The super laser sound waves and whatnot.
Yeah.
He can just communicate, though, through his normal Anima Spiritua. Again, like I said, I'm totally fine with it. The element herein is that that's the majority of Macross. So.
Well, at least they put the full crystals and other things into it. That makes it a little bit more sense.
Does
me,
it?
Anyway.
Again, for me, the element is that Macross builds on itself. They'll introduce a thing in one show, and then the next show they'll decide, we should probably explain how that works, and maybe we can make it a little bit better. And that's how they do everything. So stuff in Macross 7 that made no fucking sense when we were watching it. In Frontier, that's how that works. That's full crystals and shit like that. It's like, okay. So that's what Sound Force was.
Yeah. Apparently.
Well, I know what your thing is that they left a bad taste in your mouth. So when they explain it later in a different show, you're like, I'm not about it, so it doesn't matter anymore. For you, you can't go back. I have no problem with going back. That's why my opinion of Macross Plus has gotten softer as time has gone on. So yeah, I made a mistake there. But at the same point, I still don't think it's like the best. I think it's the element like a really good show over time slowly slips from the memory and kind of goes down. Whereas a show I didn't like can go back up a bit as I learn to appreciate it more. But at the same time, it's not going to hit the peaks of a really good show that I lost.
Yeah. So my thoughts, the movie basically is just this, but in a movie version, because it was done by, it wasn't done by the Japanese, it was done in America to sell it as a DVD. We're going to watch it anyway, but, see what happens. But
Macross
part of
2,
it is...
Do you remember the show? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I remember that this show left me a very bad taste in my mouth. But I was like watching, it's like, well, it has some problems and none. And then this last episode is like, I remember. But even then, it's still kind of nostalgic because in my personal history, and for people who might still remember the show, it was that thing that if you were starved for Macross content, because there wasn't a lot in the States, because, Mac 7 would be, you had to pass tapes and later on in the 2000s, you can yard Macross content. Or today, where you can find it in Disney Plus and some other places. Thank God. It's like, this is the next thing I want to watch, and I'm doing it. And I got into the manga version of it, or a comic book, because it was done in America. But then I was very disappointed by the very ending. So it's almost of two minds. There is that nostalgia for, wow, this was the thing that came out that was Macross. Nothing else to watch except for Macross Plus, which was the other thing that got released in the States. But at the same time, it's like, dear God, this last episode is just so ham-fisted, poorly animated, and low budget compared to even the second to last episode, which already was going there. And I'm like, I like the song because I remember it being nostalgic. I like the concept of the characters. I like the fact that the main character is not yet another pilot, fighter pilot. It's a reporter,
pilot,
he's a pilot, but not a fighter pilot. They could have done a lot with that, and they kind of tried, but never sold me. Sylvie was a okay character. I liked her. I liked the characters, at least as concepts. All the characters were fine. It's just that they were not given enough time. And what the thing I really hated, in spite of the action, is at the very end. Oh yeah, no, we're now a couple. But you spend more time with Ishtar and setting up that relationship, and clearly she was in love with you and all that. And now it's like, oh well, never mind. You're the designated couple now. So because literally she shows up in the bridge, it's like, oh, so this is what love is. Girl, this guy, what? You didn't even get it you didn't give it like a second frame of jealousy and like that. Oh, or anger. And then she gets over it. Not even that. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have enough time in the episode, so this is fine. You guys kissing in front of me. Let's go do it. I'm like, okay, sure, fine, I guess. The last episode is just like, we don't have any more budget. Boom. It would have been, I think, I was reading some stuff. I was like, they made it in OVA because that was popular at the time. Right? And I think this actually would have been better as a series. A short series, like just 12 episodes. You don't have to make 24 or 36 of it. Because Macross does have a problem having long series, 20 plus episodes, and then just faffing about, having a lot of time wasted. Right? A lot of episodes that just, the pacing goes all places. Their OVAs and movies, for the most part, tend to be more focused. Like they get to the point. Except here, this is the opposite. They have an OVA and they squander a lot of time and didn't have, they didn't get to the point quickly enough. And
I would argue that you're wrong about Macross having a lot of faffing around in it. I mean, from this point, obviously, if you're looking historically, this goes from, 40-something in SDF Macross. Although, technically not, because this is a sequel to the movie. In 2012, in which case it's not really tied into those. But, I mean, historically, what? 0 is 6 episodes, Plus is 4 episodes. Macross 7 is the longest one, I think, right? And then after that, it's 24 and 26? Which isn't an incredibly long span. That's 2 seasons.
Yeah, but even when you're doing seasons, like, for example, take Frontier. The movies, if you take the shorter format of Macross, when they have a tighter space, they tend to be better because they don't,
I'm
waste
just saying
time with
there's
other
only
things.
2 shows that have, over 40 episodes. The rest of them are in the 24 to 26 or 6 to 8. Sorry, 6 to 8. 4 to 8.
Delta, the pacing, as I said before, was not great, especially in the second half.
Well, we already argued about that. I think the pacing was fine. What they did with it was bad.
The original series kind of also was trying to find its feet and had problems with funding. And Macross 7 had a lot of episodes. It was just like the whole arc about the ship disappearing and, the city ship was a complete waste of time, It's like, okay, how do we end this? Crash into a sun. How about that? It's like,
of course,
okay.
I've said FB7 is the penultimate of Macross 7.
So I think when Macross, and these are trends, not guaranteed. There are exceptions. The trend is when Macross has a movie or an OVA, they tend to do better because they can focus on the main storyline. And when they have series, they kind of meander a little bit.
I mean, maybe. My opinion is still that Macross the show is better than Do You Remember Love?
Yeah, but that's just 2 examples. I mean, we're going to take, for example, the movies
I know.
of
I
Frontier.
said maybe. You don't have to go into the entire argument. I thought of every other movie ahead of time. Again, though, it's also what you consider a movie. The Macross 7 movie, not a movie. That other thing that we watched... Sorry, that was Gundam. Sorry, I had to say that 40th anniversary for Gundam. No, not Gundam. No, yeah, sorry. For OG Gundam. The 10-minute movie. But yeah, no, I'm just saying. Not always the case. I've thrown out my unpopular opinion. Some people really seem to think Do You Remember Love is all of that. It's like, why? Because it had a better animation than what was current? I think you spend the time with the characters in the show and you're going to learn to enjoy them more in the show than what you get from the movie. like I said, Pros D or whatever, the voice actor we were talking about before, he recently watched a bunch of movies that were suggested him by fans, and one of them was Do You Remember Love? And he was like, this made no sense to me, because he's never seen Macross. And I was like, you gotta watch the show, otherwise this is like a jumbled ass mess. And that's also my point. You can't really enjoy, maybe you can, but it doesn't seem likely to me that you would enjoy Do You Remember Love without the context of the show. And then you're just going to be like me, realizing what the movie's missing.
Like I said, I think that would be an exception to the trend. Not always the same, but that seems to be the trend overall. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Well, I mean, I got nothing to add. It's disappointing. So all that's in my head is that Hercules gift is disappointed. You know, just like
it's an end point for us for now. Well, we still have the movie.
Well, I mean, I will say that the element here is that it's not like the other stuff that we get into where it's like, I don't know how they're going to end this satisfactory. I don't think we went into this one being like, well, you didn't, obviously, you've seen this before. I don't think I was sitting here thinking, there's no possible way they could end this in a good way in one episode. I thought there was still possible. Wasn't guaranteed with how stupid the villain was. And I put that in my notes specifically for that cause. It's like, I'm not invested with the bad guy if the bad guy's just a fucking idiot. And he was. And that's what really brought down this episode, is he didn't do anything intelligent. Like, oh no, all my people are being contaminated. I better kill them all? And I've got two ways to do that. I can either have all my emulators sing the Song of Death and they'll just all crash themselves into the planet, or I can spend my time individually blowing them up. All those explosions, all that fighting out there, is not us winning the day. It's that dude killing all of his own people. It's like, am I invested in this? I don't give a shit about this guy. Do I care that he's killing all these people? People that we haven't seen? Literally, they put masks on the Zentradi, so I don't even... Faceless Zentradi. A couple of emulator girls that we've only met just now. Ishtar is here, so like it's the only... Zeph is... I don't know that I'm supposed to care about Zeph, but he manages to fly away anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zeph is the cook from One Piece who raises Sanji, loses his leg saving him. It's a whole emotional backstory. Then Sanji has his own emotional backstory past that. So Zeph is more in my head. Also, it makes more sense to me as a name. Pef is like, ironically, what a sound of somebody laughing in One Piece would be like. Yeah, because people in One Piece have sort of a, what do you call it? Like, their laugh is typically the same kind of letter being repeated over and over again. So everyone's you get like a, I don't know, I can't think of an example to do out loud, but it'd be that kind of laugh. So One Piece character would be like, that sort of thing, where you could like see it being spelled on the screen. I don't know if I'm supposed to care about him. I didn't. That's the end of the day. So
yeah,
it was interesting that he was at least had free will of some sort, to the point where he's like, I give my life in battle for this sort of thing, and it's like, this is pretty dumb. I'm getting out of here. And they didn't even set up they didn't set up all the other ships like turning their guns back on the main ship. It's like Theft starts flying away, and then everyone all decided at once with zero communication, let's all open fire on that thing. At the end of the day, the bad guys defeated themselves. Is that satisfying? Literally, our heroes failed, destroyed the icon of the entire series, or got the icon destroyed. The heroes in orbit, our second to last gasp for victory, also failed.
Yeah. I guess they weakened the ship? That's the most they could have done?
I don't think so. I think they did jack all. And then the bad guys defeated themselves. The villain is killing all of his own men, and then all of his own men turn their guns back on the villain. At the end of the day,
Inspired
this is
by Earth culture, but
at the end of the day, this is literally was Indiana Jones necessary to the plot? These guys would have killed themselves, seems to be the thing.
Pretty much.
It's dumb. This is dumb. I feel worse for having spent
Yeah.
time watching this.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I went
That's why
in-
it doesn't rank.
I went in hopeful, and I left hopeless.
Yeah, it doesn't rank very high. Anywhere by most people, including myself.
I've seen your rankings. So at least one last thing I'm excited to do is the overall Macross chart. I would say, unfortunately, it's probably going to be you and I rankings. Surf's up, dude. Well, I'm indicating you, for some reason, with a pinky, and then me. And then it's like, party on.
Load up pop. For those who get the reference.
But yeah, that'll be fun to do at least. All we gotta do though is sit through one more of this. Alright, well,
Yep.
I guess that's gonna be it for Macross 2 for now until we come back with the movie. So, until then, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?